Alright guys, so by now you will have had time to go through the exam questions over here. Before we go through the mark scheme, can I just say that if you do need to pause again to just check your answers, please do so. I should just make one thing clear, and that is when I go through how gears can be force multipliers, I will be talking the answer is specifically in application to cars, the gears of cars. Just keep that in mind. So if you do need to stop the video to revisit your answer to question 1, please do so. Anyway, so question 1, the answer is a smaller gear multiplies the turning effect of the engine force. That's mark 1. Mark 2, so a bigger or larger turning effect is exerted on the wheels, and that's for mark 2. Question 2a, excuse me. So the moment about a 36 centimeter gear wheel, or just a wheel in this case, is 72 Newton meters. So what's the moment going to be for a 12, or in this case for the 12 centimeter one? Well, remember, in this case it's 12 centimeters to 36 centimeters. So the ratio I'm going to start off with in terms of radii is 12 to 36. Equals the moment for the 12 centimeter wheel. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to put an M there, and that is M to 72, because I know what the moment is for the 36 centimeter wheel. It's 72 Newton meters. So in essence, this can also be expressed as 12 over 36 equals M over 72. And if I just rearrange this formula to make M the subject of the formula, because I need to find out what the moment is for this 12 centimeter wheel, I would do 12 multiplied by 72, divide that by 36, and that gives me M, which is equal to 24 Newton meters. Alright, and for 2b, so you've got two wheels here, two gear wheels, a 10 centimeter gear wheel, a 30 centimeter one. We know that the moment about a 30 centimeter wheel is 60 Newton meters. We want to know what is the moment about the 10 centimeter one. So again, we do the same thing as before. 10 to 30 is equal to M to 60. Again, I know the moment, the size of the moment for the 30 centimeter wheel. I don't know the size of the moment for the 10 centimeter one, and we need to figure it out. Again, so you go through the same steps as before. Rearrange the formula to make M the subject of the formula. You would do 10 multiplied by 60, divide that by 30, and that gives you a moment of 20 Newton meters. Alright, and for 2c, excuse me, the moment about a 2 centimeter wheel, in this case, is 6 Newton meters. What's the moment about a 10 centimeter one? Well, so the ratio is 10 to 2, which is equal to M to 6, because that's the moment for the 2 centimeter wheel. We need to find out the moment for the 10 centimeter wheel. Again, rearrange this formula to make M the subject of it. You should get M equals 30 Newton meters. And for 2D, remember, ratio of moments is equal to the ratio of radii, as is the case for all of the other ones of question, all of the other parts to question 2. 20 to 30 is the ratio, and that's equal to M to 120. We have a 20 centimeter ruler here, 20 centimeter wheel here, and a 30 centimeter wheel over here. 20 to 30 is equal to moment of 20 centimeters, which we don't know yet for this gear wheel, to 120 Newton meters, which is the moment for the 30 centimeter wheel. If you rearrange this formula to make M the subject of it, you will eventually get 20 multiplied by 120, divide that by 30, and that should give you 80 Newton meters for 2D. And for question 3, remember, moment is force multiplied by distance, but in this case, of course, we are looking at gear wheel radius. It's still distance, but just keep that in mind, guys. So we have to rearrange the formula to make force the subject of the formula, and that is equal to, well, first get your numbers right, which are 4.8 Newton meters equals F for force times 0.04 meters, which is 40 millimeters in meters. Remember to convert units. where required before you go about rearranging your formula and getting your final answer, hopefully. So in this case, by rearranging it to make F the subject of the formula, we get F equals moment, which is 4.8 Newton meters. Divide that by distance, which is 0.04 meters, and you get 120 newtons. Alright, so that's that then. If you need to pause the video to go back and forth on that, please do so. I am going to carry on now looking a bit more at how gears actually work. So, there's a reason for this picture. You might think that gears are absolutely brilliant and absolutely helpful. They are really helpful. They are brilliant. But there is a catch to them. If a gear gives you more force, it must also give you less speed at the same time. But again, I just said that there was a reason for these guys on their bicycles going up a gradient. Now, if it gives you more speed, it has to give you less force. So you can't have one with the other. It's either one or the other. That's why when you're going uphill in a low gear, whether it's on a bicycle, whether it's on a motorbike, a motorcycle, or a car, but in this case, in the context of a bicycle or a bike, you have to pedal much faster to go the same distance. That is why, when you're going uphill in a low gear. But when you're going along the straight, gears actually give you more speed, but they reduce the force that you're producing with the pedals in the same proportion. Keep that in mind. They reduce the force you're producing. It's, in other words, less effort is required on the rider when they're going along the straight than the amount of force that the rider is required to produce when they're going uphill. Well, let's look at this then in the context of a car. What happens to a car's speed when a lower gear is chosen? In other words, when you're in a lower gear in a car, what does that mean in terms of speed? Hopefully you're thinking that means speed decreases. In other words, the car slows down. Well, why is that? And why have I got this picture? Well, you're about to find out. Look at the small gear here. This, look at my cursor, that is a small gear. That is a bigger gear. So, small gear, big gear, small gear, big gear. I hope this picture is as clear as it is. It is from the GCSE physics textbook anyway for AQA, as far as that is relevant. What is the small gear doing over here? Look at this arrow. What is it actually doing? Well, it's actually rotating in this particular direction, which is actually, if you think about it, clockwise, which is causing this larger gear wheel to rotate in the opposite direction, anti-clockwise. What this small gear here of the engine shaft is doing is it's turning the larger gear that is on the output shaft, or in other words, the wheel shaft, as I mentioned earlier. Now what that actually means is, remember, it's a larger gear wheel, so it's going to rotate more slowly. It's going to turn slower. The force of the larger gear wheel, which is going to be applied and exerted right at the edge, right over there, is actually further, look at my cursor, is acting further from its shaft, the output shaft. So therefore the distance has increased between the two. Now what does that mean? It means the moment, the turning effect, is going to be higher. Remember, moment equals force times distance. Moment equals force. The force applied by this small gear wheel is equal and opposite to the force applied by this larger gear wheel. The forces they apply will not change in this case, multiplied by distance. The distance between the force applied on the large gear wheel and its shaft is greater. It is going to have a larger moment, a larger turning effect. What about when a higher gear is chosen? The speed increases. So as you're driving in your car, as you go from gear 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, etc., if you're driving a manual car, that is, the speed should go up. If it's not, you need to take it for an MOT. But it should increase. And the question is why? Again, look at this gear over here. Notice that the shafts have moved. They've shifted. That's what happens when you shift your gears. Shifting up in this case. The larger gear wheel, look at what it's doing. It's actually turning the the smaller gear of the output shaft. Typo here, apologies. It should be shaft, not half. That's not a word as far as I'm aware. It's turning the smaller gear of the output shaft. Now remember, this is a smaller gear, so the output shaft will start to turn faster. And the force, which is going to be applied over here where my cursor is, the force of the small gear wheel will be acting nearer to the output shaft. So the distance between the two decreases. So therefore the turning effect will also be smaller. It will be lower. This is how changing gears actually gives either a bigger or smaller turning effect. So here's what I want you to do. Using all that information, and of course, please feel free to pause the video and go back and forth on that explanation and listen to it more attentively if you want to. I want you to pause the video here. I want you to answer the 6-mark exam question in your books, if you've got your book, or on some paper if you can. Explain then, using the information that I've just given you, based on that, explain how changing gears in a car can either increase or decrease the moment of a turning effect. You have to explain how changing gears can increase the turning effect and how they can increase, how they can decrease the turning effect. I want you to give me both aspects to that answer. Use these keywords to help you in your answer. Your challenge is about a bike's chain, which is used to turn the rear wheel of the bike. The chain pulls on a gear wheel on the axle of the wheel. The gear wheel is one of a set of gear wheels of different diameters. Explain why the largest gear wheel should be used in an uphill climb. And that's 3 minutes. Give yourself about 8 minutes. I would say no more than 9 minutes on this activity in total. Press pause, give the questions a go, and when you're ready for the answers, press play. Okay, so let's go through the answers now. For question 1, first things first, at a low gear. Mark 1, small gear of engine shaft turns larger gear of output shaft. Mark 2, output shaft turns slower. Mark 3, force of the larger gear acts further from its shaft, therefore increases turning effect. At high gear, it's literally vice versa. Guys, it's literally vice versa. Large gear of engine shaft turns smaller gear of output shaft. Output shaft turns faster. Force of the smaller gear acts nearer to its shaft, therefore decreases turning effect. That bit at the bottom is cut off there, guys. Apologies. It says turning effect for Mark 3. Question 2. More force is produced. Larger gear further from the shaft. Larger gear further from the shaft and bigger turning effect. So make the corrections as you need to, guys. That's the end of the lesson. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. Please write them in the comments section, or if you're my student, please email me. Please email me on Firefly and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, just write questions that you have about anything in the concepts that I've gone through in the lesson in the comments section below. Subscribe and please share the video with your friends, especially if you know that they're going to find it beneficial. The next couple of videos are going to be on things like pressure and surfaces, as well as pressure in liquids at rest. And that's just a couple of the videos that are coming up. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.